What's up guys, it's Drac, and this is the Nerf Mega Hotshock that I have brought back from Singapore to review for you. Now it cost in Singapore dollars about 20 Sing dollars, which was crazy because the MSRP here I think is roughly 10. That said, I brought it back to review for you just in time for them to start showing up in the States. So that was genius. I'm really glad that I wasted checked bag space on the Hotshock, but here it is nonetheless. It is the standard orange trigger model. It is not claiming ranges. I don't think it is a Mega Blaster, so hopefully it gets Mega style performance. I brought out some relatively comparable things to talk about, not only its size, but also its kind of comfort, and then of course performance discrepancy. So let's cut it out real quick. One quick shout out to Hasbro. I love when the ties here, the twine, match the blaster, so we've got gray for the handle and red for the blaster itself. That is always cool. First thing to note about the blaster is that it comes with 2 Mega Darts. That's enough to load the blaster, as well as enough to load its top storage rail. So you can see up top, just like the Big Shock before it, it has the space to store an extra shot. So one is loaded in the front here, and then one can go back here. Without that in it, it really doesn't impact the iron sights. The Big Shock, I think, had a hole up front that you could use as sighting, so you had to give that up if you wanted to use this. Now, as far as the handle goes, it's egregious. It's actually too small for my hands. Just not very comfortable. My pinky wraps around this part that was clearly designed to go this way. If you hold it like so, not that bad, but not a great handle. Now, is it going to get more performance than the Big Shock? These are so similar, it's sinful. Like, this one just has the plunger inline and built into the handle, and is as such a much more compact blaster. The Hotshock itself is trying to be more of a full-size pistol, comparable to the Fire Strike. They are similar in size, but the Hotshock has more coming off the back end. So it's actually bigger than a Fire Strike and much longer than a Big Shock. But how is it doing performance-wise? So with Mega Blasters, I'm really used to Mega Blasters getting like solid performance. The Thunderbow being the standard for me. The Thunderbow broke that century mark with no problems. The Big Shock actually gets relatively decent performance, and the Cyclone Shock is, in my mind, the pistol king. Still just like a monster revolver. So to put that into perspective, here's a Cyclone Shock shot level. About 55-60 feet, and then we will give the Hotshock the same sort of treatment. Much less. So people who have cronied these have cronied them at about 55 feet per second. I don't find that information to be as relevant when using different projectiles, like Mega Darts versus Elite Darts and what have you, but this is sincerely underpowered, for sure. Like, just not getting the kind of power that I want out of a sidearm, but I guess if you have to have Mega Darts, it's getting almost identical performance to the Big Shock itself. So, I mean, excellent for humans versus zombies if Mega Darts break your tanks. Most people are only using Demolisher missiles and socks for that purpose, but I guess it's fine for that. The balance of the blaster is fine. It spins well, but ultimately you're paying a little bit extra to get something that is less compact than the Big Shock. Now, a lot of people were talking about this and how they think that rebarreled this will be the new NIC style pistol, as opposed to like a Fire Strike or a Night Finder, and to that I say poo-poo. The Night Finder is still king in that respect because it has the special plunger tube where you can actually unscrew it and put just monster spring loads in there because of the way that it breaks down. This is actually using the same clip system that the Fire Strike uses, and there's a reason that we haven't switched to Fire Strikes for NIC pistols, because it frankly just isn't as good for those high-powered pistol modifications. That said, so many people are interested in it that there will be a modification guide for the Hotshock. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm either going to turn it into another funky fresh rival pistol, or I'll rebarrel it for elites. Both are very easy to do and very simple and standard. Blaster looks like it'll paint very easily, as this appears to be a complete separation in the shell, but for the value, it's fine. It's a mega pistol that's getting mega pistol performance. It's nowhere near as good as the Cyclone Shock, and since you can find these on sale for $12 right now, I think that it's pretty hard to justify purchasing the Hotshock unless you just really want something super small and holsterable, in which case, why didn't you buy a big shock for half the price when they were on sale? But the Hotshock is new, and so we reviewed it because it is kind of cool. I definitely like the styling of it. I like the open port around the barrel here, and even though I don't think it's going to be the new NIC pistol, I think that it definitely has a place in modifications and look forward to modifying it for you. So if you want to pick one of these up, I'll put an Amazon link in the description box below, and I will also put a link to the modification guide in the description box below when I eventually get to it. But that's just my take on it. Let me know your opinions in the comments section below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.